Good afternoon. Welcome on in to this edition of From Day One, the midday edition. And with that, we'll start cracking through the daily quests. Well, we start with today's courtroom appearance. And we'll start with something that I can only title as an attorney with a huge heart.
Now from the count.
Josh, have you ready for reference status? State ready?
Christina Thomas for observation, Your Honor.
Okay. Miss Myra, how are you?
Pretty good, ma'am, and you?
I'm great. I'm good. You don't look very good today.
I'm exhausted.
Are you still working at the motel?
Yes, ma'am. I was actually thinking about getting a second job as well.
Oh my God, here you are. You're telling me you're exhausted and tired, and why do you need a second job?
Because I moved into my new house. I don't know if you remember, but the rent is $1,095.
I don't remember. That I don't remember. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All the kids love it?
Yes, and it's pretty big. They're not in a two-bedroom no more.
Beautiful.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Miss Chavez, anything else I need to address with Miss Myra?
Your Honor, you also wanted to address with her the COVID test, where she stated that she was going to go test if she was sick. She reported she wasn't able to go to the UA because she was pending the results. Turned out that she didn't go get tested till after the report date. And then we also have the positive UA on September 22nd for the marijuana and the opiates. And this was after she reported September 21st, where she requested to see if she can use CBD. I explained to her she can't. I asked her if she already purchased it. She said no. Then she tested positive. She called back and she said she did purchase it and she was using it and she has been using it.
You've been using the CBD oil?
Yes, ma'am. It took me off my anxiety medication.
Fortunately, the defendant has got her finger over the mic.
You've always used marijuana as long as I've known you, and that's years and years. You like marijuana. You do it. Don't talk about anxiety. No. You've been using marijuana since day one that I met you. Stop using excuses. Judge, I can't stop and I need help. That's what you should say. Ms. Chavez, we interrupted you. Continue.
We did discuss the anxiety. We did discuss the medication. I explained to her my concerns over the medication because her taking the meds at night and by herself with the 5 kids and not being able to wake up. She did miss her doctor's appointment on September 8th. We thought it was because she was sick. She claimed she was sick. She was coughing. She was pending the results from the COVID. They were going to discuss the anxiety on that day and the medication. There's just inconsistencies with the story, going back and forth. It's making a difference.
She's playing games again. She's doing drugs. She's engaging in her addict behavior. That's what you're doing, Ms. Myra, again. Ms. Myra, tell me the truth. Are you using drugs again?
No, the only thing that I smoked is the CBD.
You smoke the CBD?
Yes, ma'am.
Why do you smoke it?
I take my anxiety.
Judge, I cannot hear Miss Lopez.
Miss Lopez, are you covering the speaker?
Of course she is.
There you go. Now I can hear.
Yeah, you're coming in and out off and on.
Sorry.
Miss Chavez, does she look good to you? She doesn't look.
And so I've been trying to modify the audio as much as I can because of her covering that mic, unfortunately.
She looks very stressed, Your Honor. And because of the life, the game, I'm sure she's anxious. I'm sure she's on the brink of having a crisis. She thinks she's going to go to jail. She looks very stressed out to me.
Judge, what history do we have of use of conscious? THC, maybe?
THC, I think. That's it, right, Ms. Chavez?
From my understanding, it was marijuana use prior to her being modified to the mental health unit. The judge did offer her services with Aliviane inpatient and outpatient. And then we.
Unfortunately, for those who may believe marijuana should not be criminalized or anything else, Texas is a state that doesn't even allow medicinal marijuana, TBD oil, hemp seed, any of those kind of situations. Unfortunately, GC Central here is mostly the same deal, but in certain situations, you can get at least some limited, like the TBD oil here.
In August, she was transferred to the mental health case. Her UAs were coming up negative August 12, August 18, September 13, and then September 25.
When did they take you off your meds, Miss Lopez? You said
they switched them back in October when I ended up going to Takumi.
October of 2020?
No, October of 2021. No, not October. August, excuse me. Sorry about that. It was August. When I was transferred to Ms. Christina, is when I was going to La Mente, I had fatal medication and then they re-switched my medication.
How many times?
And down in especially southern Texas, where this is El Paso, you start getting what's known as Spanglish, where you do get a mix of both English and Spanish being spoken at the same time.
We sent her to jail, Miss Chavez.
Judge is asking the prosecuting when was the last time that he did jail.
You gotta go to jail, Miss Lopez. You know what you're doing is illegal. It's not like this is the first time we've had this conversation.
I understand.
You don't understand. No, you don't understand. You're leaving 5 children blowing out in the wind because you like to smoke pot.
There's a lot that I've been through. I'm not trying to play the victim or anything. But majority of the time, I live inside my head.
So why don't we get you help for that? Why don't you seek help for that?
I was going to a therapist. Once I got transferred
If you're living in your head with all those nightmares and all those issues and all those demons, keep going.
I was told by the Takumi for my insurance that I couldn't have 2 different mental health counselors. I'm still waiting on Mike to give me a counselor for mental health. I was going to, but they took me off of it.
Your Honor, and Mrs. Lopez's defense, she was at a different clinic, and I don't know if it was the previous officer who didn't do the research to find out exactly what services she was getting, how it was going to affect her to get her transferred to Takumi. She was receiving medication, she was seeing the doctor, she had a caseworker, she had a therapist. They transferred her over to Takumi, that stopped, she has to start again. I don't know if that affected her in some way, but at the same time, I don't think she sees marijuana as something bad or CBD. It's her coping skill.
I agree.
We're not going to progress. We're not going to progress until she understands it's unacceptable. We have to deal with the pain. We have to deal with the trauma.
Very well said. I couldn't have said it any better. Do you think it's okay to do marijuana, Miss Myra, still, after all these years with me?
Can I be completely honest?
Please.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. It helps me. My children are not left unfed. I've had CPS come in for the same reason. I'm not neglecting them. They're well dressed. They're well fed. My house is clean. I'm on top of everything I'm supposed to be. It's just when I get inside my head and remember everything that I went through, I have nobody to talk to about it. So being took off of that, my next coping skill is marijuana or CBD. I don't know how to explain it, but it's that feeling of anxiety and trying to catch my breath, and it makes me feel a better person. Like I can accomplish anything.
So we need to get to the point where you feel like that on your own, without any substance, possibly without any medication.
And I understand that that's what I want.
But Your actions show otherwise consistently through the years, Miss Maya. You turn to marijuana. So your actions are saying one thing and your words are saying another. Yeah, you want to get off. Yeah, you want to, but you know. Really, she needs. I put her in a facility in 2 minutes without like.
Here comes your ultimate dilemma that every judge here in America normally will face on a near daily basis.
I have, sorry, can I say something?
Okay.
I'm willing to do the treatment, and I'm willing, I've already talked to the kids' dad, and, if he needs to take them, there just has to be a modification in the child support agreement, or the divorce decree, in order for him to take them. I did, get the paperwork yesterday for a power of attorney if I needed to give him temporary custody of my children.
I was ready to go to jail, John. She was making arrangements.
Good. Are you ready to get better and stay in jail for a while until we put you in a facility, Miss Lopez? It could be 6 to 9 months.
That's fine with me. I'll do whatever I have to do at this point, because I do want a better life for my children. I don't want the cycle to continue.
I give this girl credit.
Now, um, do you have a little bit of money to consult a family lawyer?
The only thing I have is honestly like $100 to my name as we speak right now, and I'm holding on to it for the 15th of October, so I can end up giving more money for restitution just in case I go to jail.
Your Honor, may I interrupt?
Of course, yes.
Your Honor, I would like to take this case pro bono if the client would have my representation.
My hero.
Maybe we can come to some reasonable solution for this family.
Miss Lopez, are you open to that? Miss Caballero, one of the best attorneys in El Paso County, and probably Doña Ana and Juarez too.
Thank you.
And,
I'll take it. The
and
Queen of West Texas.
You got it. And she has got the most generous. Thank you, Caballero.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for the offer.
You're welcome, Miss Lopez. When the judge is finished talking to you, please call my office. The last name is Caballero.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Say, my hero, what a
Thank you, Your Honor.
fucking good attorney.
That was really cool of you, Teresa. That's awesome.
Oh, there's Derek!
This is a heart-wrenching story.
It is.
For those of you who
Mr. Derek Wyatt, this is.
I was going to say, for those of you who know when I've gone ahead and done items with Law Talk with Mike, Derek is well known in El Paso. As I said, have Derek chime in on this is awesome. I'm going to actually keep this running for just a moment more because Derek is now on the call.
The first time she's done this in my court. She's done it one other time before.
Oh no, I've seen her in action. I've known Teresa for 2+ decades. She's a great person and a fabulous lawyer, one of the best around.
Thank you, Mr. Wyatt.
Yeah, and her heart matches that. Okay,
But
Miss
she's going to
Lopez.
cause trouble, Judge. You know that she's going to cause trouble. I really know that.
That's Turner.
Miss Lopez is gonna get some of the best representation, and she needs it. Not only that, Miss Caballero, I don't have to tell you, you know family law too. She should never turn over permanent custody to her children, to her husband.
I don't know anything about this man or her relationship with him, but I'll tell you one thing, Judge, and I know people are waiting for their cases to be called, but, these women are unskilled, and then they have children, and then life falls apart. And
so this girl is like
they're the
it's
ones
like A+.
losing everything. And if they go
Or
to
if you are more into like Japanese anime and RPGs, kind of like an S rank style lawyer. Really, really big deal that she stepped up.
jail, basically the children are going to be orphans in a lot of cases. And I think we expect more than what some people can do. And she's under your orders, and your orders are clear. But what I'm hearing is she cannot do it. There are too many stressors in her life, and she's not positioned financially, emotionally, educationally. I hear there's zero support system. So we're going to have to sit down and map out a plan that takes into consideration all of these very deep flaws.
I agree. Meanwhile, not only that, and that was very well thought out, but she's got to stop the illegal drugs. Got to stop the marijuana. You got to stop. It's illegal. If it was legal, great.
I'm not sure she can do it, Judge, from what I'm hearing. And
I agree.
And she's not the only client I've heard, express the need for this weed. And
you know what I tell those people? Move to Colorado or New Mexico.
And maybe that needs to be part of the plan.
Yes.
Maybe that needs to be part of the plan.
Yes. I've told a couple of people that have really flat out said they can't or they won't. They need to go to a state that allows it medicinally or for recreation too.
Right.
Judge, I'd like to weigh in on this too. I'm so proud of Teresa. She always does this, and we've been friends so long. It's exactly the right thing to do. I would do it myself. She constantly encourages me to, and I don't do it enough. I think Myra should move to New Mexico. When she says, to be honest with you, that the drug helps her, I believe it 100%.
There's another attorney if I'm ever in El Paso, I'd hire in a fucking second.
For the last 40 years of my life, I don't even take aspirin. But I have friends that I knew in college who are pillars of the community, doctors, lawyers, architects, other professional people who have been using marijuana their entire lives and use it to this day. I won't mention any names. I'm sure you know some of them yourself. Marijuana is not an addictive drug for her. It's something that helps her with the problems. And if she goes to New Mexico, I have no doubt that she'd be able to get a prescription. And it wouldn't be a nonsense prescription or a pretext prescription. It would be real for her.
Absolutely.
But the problem is she can't even do that while she's on probation.
I know.
In this court. So that needs to be addressed.
Well, if she has a prescription in New Mexico, I would urge the court to make an exception for her because it's a real medicine.
She was trying to, if you want to talk to her about that, she can give me some information about the service here. I just remember the name Green, doctor. I did call, I did get informed how she can get her license, prescription, how it be delivered. I just needed more information on that.
And then if we can get that, maybe the court can look at it, and because if the court is absolutely against her being on marijuana, it won't matter if she lives in Colorado or she has a prescription. Courts can,
Right. But what happened, Ms. Caballero, and you put the judge in a very difficult position in that then it opens up the floodgate. And then where do I draw the line? So I don't want to open up the floodgate.
Right.
So I would allow her to move to New Mexico. Any problem with that?
Right.
New Mexico.
Your Honor, I understand, and I always tell lawyers when they go into courtrooms, know thine judge, and I do know this judge, and so we're going to sit down and we're going to come up with a solution.
Perfect. Okay, I'll reset this for 2 weeks. I'll let you in your magic, and Ms. Caballero, once again, thank you so very much for this.
No, thank you very much for allowing me to jump in.
No, Ms. Caballero, thank you for helping.
you get off, now you have a point of reference, Ms. Chavez, to help Ms. Caballero in any way, to help Ms. Myra, okay?
Thank you guys.
Okay?
You're welcome.
Ms. Myra, you have raised a lot of compassion, and you've done that for me since day one with you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Continue to try to do the right thing with me, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You may be excused. Ms. Caballero.
Thank you, Miss Judge Rangel, Rangel, the name of the judge. We definitely appreciate it. All right, let me see if we have one more. Mike, are you there? That was today? Oh, hell yes. The conclusion of the Dog Days trial. Oh, hell yes. Hell yes, Mike. Let's go. And here we go.
The issue, fundamentally in this case, the last time that we left off was regarding the ownership of the dogs. There's a motion that is pending, filed by Ms. Null, requesting enforcement of the previous order of this court in the civil case, the initial civil case with just Ms. Null's name on it.
And that was on the paragraph 7.
But those are allegations.
Your Honor.
I mean, quite frankly, those are allegations based upon your client's representation.
Well, I'm saying correct, Your Honor, but these are sworn complaints. These are pursuant to 2.109. These are not pleadings. They're not signed pleadings. These are sworn complaints.
Well, but I understand that. But that doesn't mean that every allegation in them is true. Otherwise, there's no need to have a hearing. If I'm just going to accept what the people put down in that hearing, then I don't know why any of us are here, because I just accept that it's true and just go forward.
So the attorney for Mr. Miller starts off with this horrible argument, and the judge is rightfully frustrated. She's saying that she wants to go after the prosecutor for alleging something that her client said. I can't begin to tell you how crazy that is.
Well, in a sense, the court does, because upon a sworn complaint, the court then issued a show cause.
Which, correct. And that is that these are the allegations that are made. I'm not accepting those as true. Otherwise, there's no reason for me to even issue a show cause.
Well, then the next question, the judge, the court's putting this on my burden.
I'm not putting it on your burden. Counsel, understand what I'm saying. There's been a complaint filed with allegations. That complaint has to be filed in a certain fashion regarding because of what the statute indicates it has to contain. They have made those allegations. Based upon that, the court then issues a show cause. So I'm not shifting any burdens. I'm not doing anything. I may appreciate the fact that what you're alleging at this point may put Mr. Miller in very difficult circumstances, but that's nobody's fault but his own. I mean, I'd appreciate it, and I'll let you argue, but quit trying to shift the blame that somehow or another this is the people's fault or it's the court's fault. Because at some point, somebody's got to look in the mirror and say, it may be my fault. But you've got to go forth with your argument without those sort of pejoratives coming. Your phone is supposed to be off. And actually, if it goes off again, ma'am, while you are permitted to have it in the courtroom, if it goes off again, I'm taking it. I got 22 cases up here.
And no votes.
I'm going to decide all 22. Piece by piece. So it is not a quagmire for me. So how does an affidavit or a search warrant compare to this?
This is under confiscated contract. Its attestation is a witness.
Oh my gosh. Go ahead. I'll let you finish. I don't even know what that last part meant.
I'm sorry.
A party opponent admission of what?
That Mr. Rose is on. Now, I know the court's familiar with it, but police officers are not party opponents.
I know.
Captain Gold, Katherine.
Okay, so this is the female in the couple.
Okay.
And her testimony is shockingly reasonable. She basically admits that she owns the dog, and that's been her assertion all along. But I just throw her in there so you can see things going normally for a minute.
All right. Thank you, Mike.
All right, Ms. Null, before questioning begins, you do understand that you are a defendant in a felony criminal matter. All right. You had an opportunity to speak with your attorney, Mr. Bernstein, regarding your testimony here today. All right. And I would just advise you that if you believe that there's a question that you may or shouldn't answer, or wish to speak with your counsel regarding that, you need to let the court know so that the court will pause so that you can speak with Mr. Burns. Understand that? Yes. All right, very good. You may inquire, counsel.
All right. You may proceed.
The application for a license to washing off the dogs in it. And when you did so, did you do that online or did you go in person? And did the online application process allow input more than one owner's name? Please know when you applied online for dog licenses, what name you put into the field there? Mike, did you ever hear Ms. Catherine or David know?
The judge had to admonish her that she effectively had the Fifth Amendment available to her because she's got a pending felony charge.
That's the reason why.
This is a good friend of the couple that spends a lot of time over there, and it becomes sort of interesting.
I'd sustain that objection. You may rephrase.
I'm blaming Ms. Catherine Knowles' motion to force an order that would exclude my client. So it would be her admission for lack thereof.
You may rephrase your question.
Okay.
In other words, I'm not letting you get that question away.
No, ever say that she was the sole owner of those dogs? No.
Connor, we're going to jump this to hearsay. Ms. Dunn had an opportunity to question Ms. Null. She called her to ask those questions and asking this witness for an outward statement that Ms. Null made this person.
Response?
I still think it's part of the question.
Actually, I'm going to sustain the objection. Right.
Okay, so he asked her what the last witness said, and the state steps up and says, this is hearsay. They could have asked her what she said, which hearsay is not a court statement offered to prove the truth of the matter asserted. It's a great objection. He sustains it. Ultimately, I don't want to get too deep in the woods. He allows the guy to answer the question for a limited purpose, which is pointless. But this exchange is good.
Hearsay at this
Okay.
point. If you want to recall her and ask and confront her with the question, then you can.
It also then goes to a prior.
Why do I get an argument from you after I've made my ruling?
Good answer, Your Honor.
I do need to preserve the record.
I understand. The record is going to be clear. You may proceed on. But I am not going to have you questioning it at every ruling that I make. You may ask your next question. You may ask for your next.
In other words, you're skating on thin ice here.
I've dealt with this my whole life as an attorney. When a judge makes a ruling, you can complain about it one more time like she did here, but rarely. Once in a while. She's just been chippy and contentious from the beginning of this case, from the beginning of this day. No judge is going to put up with that. If you do that once in a while, you're sort of using up your fund. If you question after they make a ruling, you're on dangerous territory. It can be done. They will at times even listen to it, but not here.
You may ask your.
He's trying to give you a hint, girl. You're on thin ice.
Did Mr. Miller ever represent the objection hearsay?
Response.
We're talking about Mr. Miller's question as to, his statement. He said he's an owner. This is an owner under Michigan law. He has consistently said he's an owner. This is a pattern of Mr. Miller's representations that he's an owner of the owner.
So why does that not make it hearsay? That's the objection.
He's just spot on. They say objection hearsay, and then she comes back with
something that ain't about that objection.
There are exceptions to hearsay that are known to attorneys. It's just part of evidence in what you do. You got to cite one of those. That's it. That's what's available to you to overcome a hearsay objection. Or you have to say it's not hearsay, which is ultimately what happens. But again, I don't want to get too.
Your Honor, because he is coming to this court saying he's an owner, not a recent revocation. He has always held himself out to be an owner.
So why is it not hearsay? Please. What recent fabrication are you rebutting, if that's your basis for?
Well, he said he's an owner. I think everybody told me
when the judge buries his hands in his face, dear, you know you're skating on thin ice.
Because I ordered it. So you've got to go beyond that.
Autumn Miller, AUDUMILLER.
Okay, so this is the daughter of the attorney bottom left, her client. This is his daughter.
Okay.
And she's got some baggage, and it gets pretty interesting.
I listed you as Autumn Miller. Is that correct as well? Yeah, my divorce just got finalized last week. Okay, I apologize. No, it's okay. That's fine. I was. Okay. And how do you know that you never know where it's David's my dad, and Catherine's his girlfriend. Okay. And do you have a dog that was your father's? Yes. I have Ellie. Okay. And how often are you at your dad's? A lot. Negative a lot. And how often is that? 3 times a week. Okay. And for how many years have you gone to see? Okay. And will you talk to the Yes. We talk about summer 2021. Do you recall the dogs they had in their home? Okay. Do you recall dogs' names? Most of them, yes. I was never good with that, but I think I can name all of them. Okay, well, what about the 4 dogs that remained prior to the removal of December? Can I name them?
Counsel, in all fairness, just so that you're aware, you understand that Ms. Beavers has a conviction that involves truth in fraudulent activities and matters involving truth or dishonesty before you go on with further questioning.
No, it was not.
You may want to then talk to her before she goes any further, because that probably should have been disclosed to you. And I don't know, who is your next witness?
Okay, this is just bad on so many levels. First of all, she calls her client's daughter to try to establish ownership, which again makes her client a criminal defendant. That's ultimately the whole problem with the case, and just I can't even fathom it. But then she doesn't realize or know that her client's daughter has a recent felony conviction for a crime involving dishonesty. She can be impeached with it, and it's not good. Also, the judge doesn't believe anything she says, as we see. But she persists.
You may want to talk to both of them about that, about their felony convictions that just recently occurred regarding truth and dishonesty.
Yes, Your Honor. For the record, Ms. Lonnie, people got the witness list at 2:30 today. We got it earlier. We looked for fine students. We're seeing here today. I was able to pull out that information.
All right. Well, maybe she should know about that. Man, you may step down because I think you may step down.
Then I'd like to proceed for.
Go ahead.
I love it. He's like, all right, I keep trying, but it's not going to happen. By the way, we're going to get through all this. Hang with me. I'll tell you the disposition of the whole hearing at the end.
Oh, good. We're going to finally know? Cool.
How often did you see those dogs? Okay, sometimes I'm family trip just to go in and say hi and visit kids, or sometimes to go there out. We're there all of them. Okay. And what observations did you make of your father's relationship with dogs? That's what also with dogs all the time. If the person doing anything with them or for them, and feeding them, taking them outside, yeah. What did you observe? Treat them and waters them and talk to them and gives them a yogurt cup and all type of stuff. You're familiar with how much care dogs? Yes. It's basically a 24-hour dog, especially if they're little, right? No. No? I mean, not able to feed them all that. They take care of themselves. Dogs take care of themselves? Is that what you just said? No, they take care of themselves for the most part. That's what you just said, the dog.
This is a prosecutor. She does a great job, and she gets her to just say the dogs take care of themselves, which is essentially the entire problem in the case. She wasn't even trying. She just answered a question and offered that nugget up, but she jumped all over it.
Take care of themselves? I guess. For the most part, yeah, you feed them all of them and play with them. Ms. Miller, you have testified that when you were there longer periods of time, you said that it was for holidays, weekends. And then you were asked if that was weekly. And you didn't answer. Did you understand what was being asked? Objection.
Sustained. That's an improper form of questioning, counsel. And you know it.
Thank you.
It's an improper form of questioning. You know it, your counsel. Knock it off.
No further questions.
You may step down.
Here it comes.
Call the next witness.
Be stupid.
Does she have anything else to say? You know what? Get her.
Uh-oh. She left off as she stormed out.
You gotta bring her back forcibly. Do it.
This ain't good.
Ma'am, come up to the podium. Ms. Beavers, did you have something you wanted to say?
No, I'm not. I'm not understanding what I'm looking at. My dad's also
Well, you may not understand it. I think you know how you're supposed to conduct yourself in a courtroom.
Yes. Right.
And how you should be leaving the courtroom and how you should be coming in. All right, so if you're going to remain here, that is my expectation. Understood?
Understood. Yes, Your Honor.
Don't patronize me. Not today. Not today.
He's like, today you could go to jail if you want to do that.
You can go.
Yeah, it's more like you better go.
The court's going to stand in brief recess.
Yeah,
Wow, that was just incredible.
I need to walk
she
away.
said good job to the judge in a sort of sarcastic manner when she's she's this close to contempt. I don't know if she got that or not because they took a brief recess, so I don't know if they handled it off there. I don't see her for the rest of the hearing, but the judge was not happy. and shouldn't be. She was completely disrespectful and out of line. Well, there you have it. This wacky attorney continues to try to get her client to claim ownership of dogs, which creates criminal charges for him. I can't believe it continues on. I will give you the disposition. He does not rule on the issues. He says he will give a ruling next week. There's going to be another hearing. If it's available, I'll probably do it. It seems to me that he's leaning towards finding that the man is not the owner of the dog and thereby getting rid of criminal liability for him and enforcing prior civil order. I think that's where it is, but we're not sure. He asked them to submit their arguments in writing if they feel like it, and then I think he'll just issue something. That makes a lot of sense. My guess is, and this is typical, there's nothing wrong with this, my guess is he's basically got his mind made up, but he wants to draft a nice order that addresses this because it's got a little complicated, so he wants to make sure it's laid out in a good, clear, and concise order.
Sounds like a good idea,
If he's
Mike.
got a law clerk, they might have a little work ahead of them in drafting it. Here at Law Talk, we like to
Thank you very much, Mike. I appreciated it. And if you do that, we may come back to you next week so we can get that conclusion from Judge Simpson and you. Thank you very much. And with that, as soon as this fight's over, we will conclude part 1 for today. Of course, come on back for part 2 later in the day with our Subsets, Karens, Frauditors, and Flat Earthers. And of course, during the overnight, Art Bell rocks you through the overnight hours with talks of paranormal, supernatural, and everything, spooky. But until then, like, share, and subscribe, be kind to one another, and release the Kraken as you always march on here from day one. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you.